So I wanted to show you today how I created this drum loop from my Electron Syntact, Digitact and Digitone. I'm not going to go too in depth on each module or each synthesizer. All I just want to do is just show you my workflow and how I created this drum loop that we've got. So I'll just start playing it for now, just let it go through once. So quite a basic 32 bar loop. We've got quite a few elements in there. So we've got this kick, like a nice snappy 909 kick, two claps which I've panned left and right, so what you'll notice on this clap is the Digitact clap, that is a sample, so that just stays the same. So that sample is just being played over and over, but what gives the variety in sound and how it makes it sound wider, such thing, is that the Syntact clap, which is from the digital machine on the Syntact, I've panned that left and I've panned the Digitact right. So if you just listen to the Syntact clap, so that clap is a classic clap that we all know of. So if I just solo these two together, I've panned the Syntact clap left, which gives the variety, because these machine engines on the Syntact, because it's not sample based and it's coming from an actual machine, the fluctuations in every time it's triggered differs ever so slightly. So that's what gives it that standout sort of movement feel, that wideness and that delay sort of thing. So that's how I did the clap. We've got a shaker, that originally is getting panned left and right and in a random way, but then on here I've panned this, I've set this to the left hand side quite hard by 38. So next we've got the hat. Just a nice high pitched hat which goes well with the 909 open hat. Just gives it that nice ring at that top end. We've got percussion sound. And then we've got another shaker. So this is panned to the right. So adding these two together, that gives us that. And then from the OP1, which is by Teenage Engineering, I grabbed this percussion sound and I just did this. A bit of EQing and a bit of delay on there as well. So that is what it all sounds like, the percussion sounds together. So on each one of these as well, what you've noticed down in the bottom left is I've high passed all of that low information. So if I just get rid of this on the clap, because this is a sample base, this will have that low info. So see this part here, if I just open this up, we will see we can see all this here. We don't want that, so we just get rid of it. The trick that I use is, instead of using a high pass like that and then going up like that, all we do is, well, what I do is I take this side, play it, and then I slowly bring this up. And then I turn it back around. So I know around about 360 Hertz, that's where I want to be. So around about there. And I've done that trick on all of these. Well, the ones that need it. So the Syntact, what I like to do on the Syntact is on the digital machines where you can access another filter, I like to use a high pass just to get rid of that low end information before I record it in. So what I've done on this shaker is I've just auto panned it just to give it that movement, but then within Ableton on the actual channel I've panned it to the left, so you get the fluctuation in volume because it's panning the actual audio recording. So same on the tax shaker. So the Syntax shaker is one way I basically copied that, dropped it on this side, but I just pressed the invert. Not that it matters because it's random, but it might just give us some interest every now and again. So that's that one. On the hat, I didn't feel as though they were necessary to do anything on that. The percussion as well, didn't feel as though there was anything necessary. On the hi-hat, however, I did the exact same tricks that I did before. So as you can see, just here, there's just a tiny bit of low information. So I got rid of that. And then the percussion, same again. Protecting that top end though this time. So you can just see it there. And I went as high as, went quite high on that. And then on this top end, you can see just a little peak here. That's obviously above 20,000 Hertz, but I just wanted to get rid of it. Because even though you don't hear it, you're still processing that sound, which can affect your overall mix. So if you get rid of it, then you know it's not there, and you know it can't mess you up down the line. That's how I always think anyway. So with the kicks, or with the kick, I took away a lot of this low end, so up to 43 Hertz. So you've got all this rumbling, but it's not really doing much. So if I wanted a nice low bass sound within this mix or this track, then I could basically use that space there, and I know it wouldn't be clashing with the kick. Not that I would go down to 20 Hertz because you can't really hear that anyway, but maybe somewhere around here, up to 40 Hertz you could do. Here I just felt as though a little boost of 4 dB at 60 Hertz, just to give it a bit more weight, and then just took a bit of mud out at 228, just to give it a bit more definition. So that is the drums so far. Sounding really nice. On the drums bus, what I did is I used To processing wise, I used a drum shaper. Basically, I used it on the bus mode, on the classic, the attack up to 50%, so getting them transients a bit more prominent in the mix, and then the sustain wise, I reduce them down to make it nice and tight. I put soft clip on, not that it's clipping, but I don't know. I just feel it pops out a bit more with that on. If you listen to the hat. So yeah, did that. And then used the UAD Studer. Because my levels are quite low within the mix, I had loads of headroom, so I've boosted this up a good 20 odd dB. So this is just on the 0 dB mark. Touching around -1 to 0 dB. It's on 15 IPS, 456, and then calibration is on +7.5, and it gives this nice you can hear that kick. There's a bit of saturation on that kick. Then I went through the API. About -4 dB gain reduction, as you can see on this bottom side. 30 milliseconds attack time, ratio 3:1. The release time is 0.1, with it set to hard and loud tone with new tone type engaged, and yeah, around about 60 or 70, 70% or 65% mix. See, it just controls that kick and them hats, that hat. And then I ran that into the Oxford limiter. So with this, I really cranked up I basically cranked it up to the top, set the threshold to -1, so anything that goes above -1 it catches. I set a softening of around 6 dB, so you can see it's just nearly just taking it's just controlling that peak. But then the output, then I turn that down by -12, so we'll just turn this off. So if I did this to -18, what it is, let's just see that. See, I just feel as though it pops out a bit more. But that is the drums for this track so far. I have got an organ set up, but I'll run through that in the next tutorial. So with this series, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be focusing on getting a track made where all the stems will be available to you, so then you could remix this track, or you can do whatever you want with this track. So for example, these samples here, you can use that in your production if you choose to, or if you want to. So there's going to be however many stems there are, track stems. They'll be available, which will be available on the website. So yeah, this is part one. This is drums and the mix down. I'm not going to go into each tutorial and show you how I make the sounds. I'm just going to do, this is it, this is what I do to mix it, and this is my process in how I mix and create a track. If you do want to see me make a sound or whatever it is that I do, then I can happily do that in another video or another series, sound design series. Or even if you want it on this series, just let me know in the comments, and yeah, I'll happily do it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.